guys, happy Sunday. Welcome back to my channel. This week we are going to be doing part 3 to our fall porch decor, and we have some really fun things planned. We are going to be doing some decorating with pumpkins today. We are also going to be doing some fall wreaths. So for the pumpkins, we are going to get some pumpkins from the store that are like live pumpkins, but more of the whimsical style where they're not the traditional orange pumpkins. So we're going to look for greens and whites and things like that. My plan for these is for them to line the stairs leading up to our home. That's going to be the first thing that we do. And then the second thing that we do is going to be making fall wreaths. We've already made one fall wreath on the channel. This is going to be a little bit different. These fall wreaths are a different style, and they are going to go in our sunroom inside the house looking out so that when you are approaching our house, you can see them from the street or the sidewalk. And with these, I want to hang them differently. I think I also want to add some lighting to them. It's going to be a really, really pretty wreath, and you'll see as we go how it's different from the one that we made before, but I think it's going to look really special and interesting and cool. So I'm super excited for these wreaths. I've had them planned for quite a while now and have wanted to do them. We're finally going to get them up and going. For both of those wreaths combined, we're going to spend $22. So that means for all the materials to make the wreaths, it cost $22. Each wreath is going to be $11.50. I personally think that's a really great deal. I think that's a really inexpensive wreath, and especially because we're going to get 2 wreaths out of that to decorate with. I'm super excited about the price point on that and how budget friendly it is. And then the pumpkins are going to be just the cost of whatever the pumpkins are in your area. So as we start making our wreaths, I'm going to walk you through the different materials that we're using. It's pretty minimal. Most of this you can, actually all of this you can get at your local craft store. I got some of it at the dollar store, which is what makes it so inexpensive. So if you're interested in decorating with me and making some fall wreaths, then stick around and watch this video, and we're going to get right into it. Alright guys, so we have a bunch of different pumpkins that we're going to be decorating the front porch with. I got all of these at Trader Joe's. We're going to clean these up and prep them to put them outside. I did some research because I don't want these pumpkins to rot, and we live somewhere that is really hot. We live in Florida. It's hot all the way until like mid to late January, maybe longer. So pumpkins can rot really easily if they're left out in the sun. I did some research on how to prep them to get them to last longer, and we're going to give it a try and see if it works. What we're going to be doing is we're going to start by removing all the stickers and then washing them with soap and water, and then we're going to wash them again with bleach. Then we are going to take a clear enamel and spray them all down and let that dry, and then they'll be good to put out. The person that I saw posting about this lived in southern Arizona and said that this helps her pumpkins to last for a couple of months. We're going to put that to the test. Hopefully that is going to work for us as well, because it is equally hot here, and we're going to go through that process and then put them out and see how they do. I'm going to use our little dish sponge and just kind of lightly scrub them with soap and water. And I think the purpose of this is that it's going to get any dirt or bacteria off of the pumpkin that it may have on it from the store or the pumpkin patch, so that it won't eat away at it when it's sitting out in the sun, and so that the clear enamel doesn't lock in the bacteria. In the article that I read, it said to give special focus to if the pumpkin has ridges or around the stem, because I guess more can get trapped there. So that is what we will do. We sprayed the top half of these with the Rust-Oleum clear enamel, and we're going to let them dry for about 15 minutes, and then we'll flip them over and do the other side, and then they'll be ready to decorate with. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is start making our fall wreaths. For these, we are going to make 2 of them, and the plan is to hang them from a stick on some fishing lines that it looks like it's kind of just floating. So you'll see what I mean as we start to decorate with them, but I have an idea for it. I think it's going to be really cool. I made our first one to get an idea of what we're going to be going for, and I want to show you kind of what it's going to look like. So this is our first wreath. I think it's really beautiful. For this specific wreath, I did decorate both sides of it, which is not something that I normally do with a wreath, but for this one, it's going to be in our sunroom, and so you will be able to see it from the street and from inside of our house. So I wanted it to look nice on both sides. For these wreaths and for this project, keep in mind that if you don't need it to look nice on both sides, then that will cut the cost of making these in half, because the materials that I used accounted for it being decorated on both sides. So if you only need one side to look nice, it will require half the materials. So I'm going to set this one off to the side, and we're going to use it as kind of our model as we make our new one. Okay, so to start off with these, I got some wire wreath rings. This one came in a set of 3. This was from the dollar store. It was $1 for all 3 of these, but we're only going to use 1 today, so we'll still have 2 more that we can use for future wreaths, and that is for both of these. So they both came in a set of 3, so that means that we have 4 future wreaths that we can make from just $2 being spent. You'll be able to make 6 wreaths total. We're going to use the biggest one, which I think is an 18-inch ring like this, and it's a gold base ring, but it doesn't matter what color it is because we're going to cover it up. Since we want a crescent moon shape, what I did was I took some wire cutters and cut a piece of this ring out to make the crescent shape. The other materials that we're going to be using today are some floral wire. This is what I used to attach the base that we're going to be working from. You could also use hot glue if you wanted to. I just found this to be a little bit easier. We will use some grapevine, and this is like a wood dried vine. This was from Amazon, and it came in a set of 2 15-foot long wheels like this, but we only need 1 of these for both of our wreaths. This is what's left from the first one that I did, and we probably won't even use all that. We'll need our florals. So I got these at Joann, and they were literally 75% off when I got them, so they ended up being $1.50 each. I got 4 of these guys, these purple fluffy ones, and then I got 1 of these for each of my wreaths, so double it for both. That is what you'll need to make this. This is what's left over from the first wreath that I made. So there's 7 pieces of this pink flower left over. So we'll use that first, and we'll see if we even need the other one. And then the last thing that you're going to need is some ribbon. So this is the ribbon that we used in our first fall wreath video that we did. It is like a plum burgundy color, and it's velvet. You won't need this entire roll. You're just going to need a small piece of it for each of your wreaths to hang from the bottom. That is everything that we'll need today. Let's start by cutting our wire wreath hanger. This is the hardest part. It's very hard to break through. Definitely use wire cutters. Not so bad. So I got 1 cut. Now we want to kind of figure out how much we want to take away. I'm probably going to do it right about here. There it is. So there's our crescent shape. We start with that. And what we'll do from here is add our grapevine as our base. So the stuff is pretty stiff, but it kind of works in our favor because it will lay just like our wreath shape. I'm going to start on the end here and attach a piece of it with our wire. Let's cut a little piece of our wire off. And then what you want to do is wrap it around the grapevine and your wire wreath hanger a few times as tight as you can. Once you get to not very much left over, you're going to twist it. So that's going to make it really secure. And once you have it all twisted off, you're just going to wrap it around so that it's out of the way. And we're going to do that all around our wreath at probably about 4 points to make sure that your grapevine is on there really tight. And we're going to do 2 layers of our grapevine. Okay, so there's our first layer, and we're going to cut all the extra grapevine here. And now we're going to do a second layer. Okay, so we have our base on our wreath. This is a little bit long, so it kind of closed it off a little bit. We'll see how it goes. I might trim this back a little. So we didn't use all of our grapevine. There's still a fair bit of that left. We'll probably use that in Christmas time for a wreath or something then, or maybe a centerpiece. And we still have a ton of floral wire left, which is great because this stuff is super handy. So we'll definitely use this. So we have all this that we can work with. What I am going to do is start cutting up these purple fluffy ones because I know for a fact that we're going to use all of those. I will use my wire cutters for these. I don't think you necessarily need them for this one because these are skinnier branches, so you can cut them with scissors, but it's just a little bit easier. So I'm just going to cut off each individual piece, and I'm going to cut it close to the stem like this, but not with the stem completely gone, because we'll use this to feed through the grapevine. We have a pretty good base going right now. This is what the front looks like. So I want to start working on the back, and then we can go back and add in as we need to. Still have a lot of my purple left, so we should be able to make this a lot fluffier. And I really want the focal point of this to be more the purple flower than the pink one. So what I'm kind of doing is when I put the pink in, I'm going back and covering up parts of it with the purple so that it's only peeking through. It's not like the main event. I'm really excited to see this one hung up because I really like the idea of a crescent moon wreath for fall. I think it brings in the fall colors, but also kind of the witchy vibes of Halloween. And then I think it's gonna look really cool hanging from the stick on the fishing line. I'm excited for you guys to see it. I've been thinking about this one for a while. I've honestly had these materials sitting there since we made our first fall wreath, and I've just been waiting to have time to be able to do it. So it's been on my mind for like a few weeks now. These pink ones are also a really great filler if you need to take up some space on your wreath. They make the purple go a lot farther. So you can see what I mean here. Like I put this pink one down, and I'm covering part of it with the purple so that you only see pieces of the pink coming through. And that is kind of how I prefer the wreath to look. I like the purple being more of what we see. And really, I'm using the grapevine as like a base to weave things through, but I'm also letting a little bit stick out on the ends because I do think it looks good with the wreath. It's just not the whole wreath for me. So most of it's getting covered up. Okay, I think we need a little more of the pink. I have this whole entire thing left over. I'm gonna cut off some small pieces. Start with 4. And honestly, making a wreath is just kind of you play with it and add and take away things until you get a look that you like. It's not really like a science to it. I'm really just kind of going for it and seeing what I like as I go. Okay, so now that I have this one on the front like this and it's pretty prominent, I'm gonna add a purple to the front to cover up some of that because I don't want it to be that much pink. So that kind of looks pretty good right there. I might glue it up a little bit. See, I think that looks a lot better when you just see some of the pink coming through. Anywhere where it looks kind of funny, that's where I added at the end. Oh, baby. No, it's back here. Okay, so some of these are too long for me, so I'm just gonna trim them, give it a little haircut. There we go. I think that's much better. So I want to put our 2 wreaths side by side and kind of compare and see how they're looking next to each other, and then if we need to, we have a little bit left that we can add. We'll just ignore the haircut. All right, so let's see. So this is our original, and then this is our second one. So I think it looks pretty good. This one is definitely a little bit like smaller in a way, if that makes sense. They're the same size, but this one looks more open in the center. It might just be that the metal is bent. Honestly, I think it looks pretty good. They're obviously not identical, but I never expected them to be. So I think that they'll look good next to each other. What I want to do is add our ribbon to our second one, and then we can hang these up in the sunroom. So for the ribbon, I want to figure out where I want it placed. Usually what I do for that is I find a spot that just doesn't look completely how I want it to. Maybe it's a little bit like smushed or something like that. And that is where I put the ribbon. So I'm thinking right here is a good spot. I think that'll be pretty close to where this one is. So that should go well. Let's grab our ribbon. And what I'm going to do is unravel it and run it through where I want it to sit, like that, and then we can see the length. The length doesn't have to be the same as the other one. It can be whatever you want it to be. I think I'll probably make it like about this long, and then we can tie it. To tie it, all that I'm doing is just making one knot, not even a full double knot, just a single knot. And I'm not tying it too tight. I'm just doing a single knot and letting it hang. This one is a little bit different than the other one. It has an uneven tie off, which I really like, and this one's a little bit more even. So I think they look really good. I like it. We're gonna clean up real quick and then we will go and hang them. Just for our own knowledge, I still had this much of our ribbon left over, this much of the purple flower, which is probably about one whole piece, and then almost an entire pink one left over. So there's a lot of materials left. So the original calculation for how much we would spend would be if we used all of these materials, but we ended up not using almost 2 entire flowers and then some ribbon as well. So that would be about $4 or $5 off from the original calculation. So, oh look, here's another piece. So the original number that we would be spending was $23 total, $11.50 each. If we're taking $5 off of that, then that is $18 total, which means that these are actually $9 each. So it's even better than what we thought. So we have our 2 wreaths ready to go, and now it's time to get them hanging. To hang our wreaths, we need to do a little bit beforehand. We're going to be hanging our wreaths on this stick here. So this stick I just got from my yard. It's pretty lightweight, so it shouldn't be too hard to hang. And we're going to hang them from it with some fishing line so that it looks like they're kind of floating. What I want to do before I start attaching the wreaths to the stick is to wrap this stick in some fairy lights. This is the same fairy lights that we've been using for all of our other fall projects where we've been adding lighting, like our garlands and the mushroom garden. This came in a box of 6 of these lights, and this is the 5th one from the box. So we've used them in quite a few projects and they've lasted a really long time. And my plan for these is when the Christmas season comes around, I'm going to remove the lights from the projects that we've been doing for fall and put them into Christmas projects that we're doing. And then when fall comes around next year, I can do the same. I can move the lights from the Christmas to the fall again and just kind of repurpose them so we don't have to have double the amount of lights that we need. I put our batteries in and we're just going to start wrapping our stick to get it ready to hang our wreaths. And the fairy lights, of course, are optional. You don't have to have these, but I'm a big fan of lighting in my decor because I think it really just kind of steps it up another notch. So instead of it just being pretty fall wreaths, now this like really draws the eye in. And especially at night, this is gonna look amazing. And it's pretty low maintenance too because these lights have a timer. So for, you know, the 5 projects that we've done so far in the fall season with this type of light, I just set it once and they've just turned on their own every night, and I haven't had to change any batteries, and it's been really easy. I really like this one. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna attach some fishing line to our stick that can attach to curtain rods that I have in the sunroom, and then we're gonna attach the wreaths to our stick as well. For me, I'm going to put a couple layers of fishing line to hang this because fishing line is usually pretty good. I hang a lot of holiday decor with it, but it can be a little bit slippery and I really don't want this to fall, so I'm gonna put some backup ones to help support it. Where I'm hanging this in our sunroom is a spot that our dog Nala likes to sit a lot, so I want to be really cautious in hanging it so that it doesn't fall and, you know, scare her or bump her or anything like that. So I'm going to do like a few layers. All right, so I have quite a few knots at the bottom, and now I'm going to put some knots at the top. Right up here, and the length length is perfect to where it's going to drop right below the window for the sticks so the wreaths can hang right around the midpoint. But to do that, what I need to do is take the curtain rods and untwist them. So these curtain rods that I have in here are ones that are not one continuous pole. They twist together to make different lengths. I'm going to take them at their connecting point and untwist them and then slip the fishing line in there so that the stick can hang from that. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Alright, well that's our video for the week. I hope that you guys enjoyed decorating with me and making some fall wreaths that are a little bit different in style than our previous wreath that we made. I think it turned out really, really cool and unique. I'm super excited about the look of everything and how it's all coming together. I hope that you give it a try yourself. And if you enjoyed watching the video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you can see more like this. I put out new videos every Sunday. And stick around because we'll be doing a few more fall videos before the Christmas season comes on and we start shifting gears. So we've got some more fun things planned. All right, I'll see you guys next week.